Hey guys, so these past few days I've been so sick. It's been really hard for me to breathe at night. I just caught a bug that Yuri had. I'm sure she caught it from school, so that's probably part of what made it so difficult for me this week is that Yuri was sick first, was trying to care for her, and then Gideon accumulated a cough, and then I got sick, so we were all kind of sick at the same time. But I am recovering, and I really wanted to share something that we were going over in our MOPS group. It seemed like a really good subject, and I was just really excited to share it. It's called the process of becoming ourselves, and I think that as moms we spend so much time and energy just kind of trying to get everything done. We want to get the house done, we want to make sure that our husbands are happy and our children are happy and that everyone is getting what they need, and then whatever is left over is kind of for mom, right? I think that sometimes we just spend so much time trying to figure out everybody else's needs that we kind of forget to focus on ourselves, what we need, the things that we still like, the things that we love to do, and the things that really ultimately make us happy as a person. In our MOPS group, we actually talked about this, and then we started playing this really fun game called Me Say, You Say. And I think the best part about it was just the closeness that we felt afterward. I think I've never felt closer to the ladies that were at my table than I did that day. Just because it was a game where you can kind of lay out all of your insecurities, and it was like this weight just lifted off of my shoulders, and knowing that I could relate to their insecurities, or that it's different when you can relate to movies that you like, when you can relate to books that you've read, but when you go to this deeper level of, this is how we feel like we either fail as a mom or that we're perceived in this ill light. I think that it's just like this relief knowing that other people feel this way and that it might be a little bit more normal than you think. Alongside that maybe these aren't things that are necessarily true about yourself. You're believing all these negative things about yourself that maybe you're being a little too harsh on yourself. And it's just easier to see it when other people are pointing out how they don't see you that way. So if you're looking for a good way to connect with other women and just a really good motivator, I would definitely suggest trying this game. And the way it works is that you can talk to one other person, a small group of people, or a whole table of people. My table was actually only 4 other girls at that time. There were only 4 other girls, and then I was the 5th girl. But we went around the table, and what we did was we took turns on sharing how we think that the world perceives us, how we think that we come across to other people. And when it came to my turn, I'm more of a listener, I guess. I think that sometimes I can be more of a listener when I'm in that kind of setting. And one of the things that I pointed out was that when I was younger, I was very bubbly and audacious, and I just liked talking to people. And over the years, I felt that sometimes I come across as shy because now I don't always like to approach people. I'd rather just kind of be in the background and just kind of listen and observe, and that could probably come off as not approachable. And I grew distant from some of my friends, partly because some of them didn't have kids, and I was just kind of discovering more about the Lord, about me being a Christian, and some of my friends, aren't in that boat, which is fine. It's just that we grew further apart because, we're trying to figure ourselves out. And growing into my 30s, in my early 30s, which I actually kind of love. I feel more like a woman now than I ever have. But I still feel like, my kids are finally getting a little bigger, and I'm still trying to figure out who I am now. So after everyone shares, most of it is kind of insecurities. I guess you don't have to share that, but even if you don't say a lot of negative things about yourself, usually some insecurities do come out. And that's actually a good thing, because then the next step is those people that are around you get to tell you how they see you. And a lot of the times it's a lot different than the way that you see yourself. They were telling me, they're just like, really? They're like, that's surprising to us because you seem really confident. You do come off as strong. And when you have something to say, you say it. You say that, like, maybe you don't talk all the time at the table, but when you do have something to say, you don't have a problem speaking up and saying, hey, like, let's get back to what we were talking about, or hey, well, how do you feel? They told me that it's probably normal because the friends that I used to have, I accumulated over several years of just going to school with them. or going to work with them. But now that I'm a stay-at-home mom, it's so much harder to just kind of get out there and make friends, and that it's probably more normal and not to be your complete self at first. You're in this new process of trying to make friends as an adult, which is just completely different than a kid, because most adults don't just go and walk up to somebody and be like, hey, you want to be my friend? Let's be best friends. But you know, we should be able to do that, because kids make so many friends because they're not afraid of just going and walking up to somebody and being like, hey, that's a cool bag, let's be friends, we should hang out. Anyway, after I shared, then the girl across from me was like, that. Everything you just said, exactly that. That's exactly how I feel, which was actually surprising to me because she was kind of on the shy side. She still seemed very approachable. I think it just kind of made us realize all these little things that we were worried about almost didn't exist. They more so existed in our mind. Like, we felt them, but they weren't necessarily as big as we thought that they were. And I think talking about all this stuff that touches our hearts on a deeper level brought us a lot closer than we thought that we ever would get. You know, after that session, I felt so revived, so joyful, and even my husband could tell. He asked me how the MOPS group went, and I told him all about it, and I was like, I just feel so joyful in my heart. I felt like I had this open mind to a new perspective of how people see me, and all of a sudden, all that negativity that I was holding inside of me that I thought people saw in me was just kind of like lifted off my shoulders. And he's like, yeah, I could tell you had a really good session today. He's like, you look really happy. And I was like, I am. I was like, you know, I'm glad that I was able to get that weight lifted off my shoulders, and I was glad that I was able to be a part of a session where I can do that for other people. So I would definitely recommend that to try for you guys, and as they say, just remember that the days are long, but the years are short. The days seem long, it seems like the stress goes on forever, but then the years go by so fast, and I look at my daughter and I see how much she's grown, and I'm just like, where did those years go? Even though I know that I was stressed beyond my mind during the days, they felt like they would never end. And now when I look back at it, I'm just like, I can't believe that so much time has already gone by. So take heart and let me know if you guys relate to some of it or any of it. And I'm probably gonna take some Tylenol or something and rest up a little bit before my daughter gets home from school, because I'm still feeling not very well and do need to take care of my body as well. But I hope you guys really liked the video. If you liked this, please subscribe down below, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye!